Welcome back. My name is Todd Graff. This is Damian White, and this is the Gold Spot. All right, so a lot's been happening recently. I think the big thing in financial markets, and people are still talking about it from last month, but the Federal Reserve lowered the rates for the first time in a very long time. And that's had a lot of effects on asset prices. We've seen stock market at an all-time high. We've seen gold prices at an all-time high. We've seen Bitcoin price at an all-time high. So the Federal Reserve seems to be adding to this debt bubble, this everything bubble where everything is increasing. Damien, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Not only did the Federal Reserve lower rates, but they've actually initiated a rate cutting cycle. They've been raising rates for a couple of years, held that steady. And now, because the Federal Reserve is anticipating or seeing data points that inflation seemed to be moderating, they started the rate cutting cycle to start taking some of the pressure off of the economy with just higher prices. There is a lot going on right now. I think probably the biggest thing that the entire country, maybe the world, is anticipating is this election that's coming up in several weeks. But confounding all that information is that when the Fed cut their rates last month, starting what generally would be a multi-meeting rate cutting cycle, could be a year, could be a couple of years. We had data points that came out, the most recent one of consumer price index and the producer price index, which kind of threw a conundrum for them because those actually went up. And I think that was a little bit unexpected. And now there's a lot of talking. Did the Fed start cutting rates too early? Are we going to have some kind of inflation resurging? And so if you go back to the past, the last time this happened was 40 years ago, where you were looking at these rate hikes and rate cuttings became very tumultuous because the inflation started going up and down. It was going in waves. What everyone is worried about now is that, are we really seeing inflation start to rise back up? It had been trending down for the last 9 months or a year. Inflation data points were coming down. Well, now that kind of snuck up when the Fed had just cut rates. So that's something that everyone's going to have their eyes on. Is inflation actually going to start rising again while they're cutting rates, which would ultimately be putting fuel on the fire? And then you want to throw in one more data point in there, which was on the Friday unemployment report. Unemployment numbers started going up. So people are filing for unemployment insurance.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot going on. What do you think the net effect of all this is going to be?
Rising inflation and rising unemployment is stagflation. So it's a little early to be pinning it exclusively on those data points. One data point doesn't make a trend, but now we're starting to see some things where if the Fed's cutting rates, we've got inflation going up and you got unemployment going up. It's a very problematic situation for the Fed. They might be painted in a corner. The remnants of that was the 70s under Carter. And the one thing I will say, that in a stagflationary environment, gold, that is the environment where gold performs the best. So we're a gold company, we're a gold show. You need to own gold, especially if these economic data points continue. The Fed is going to be painted into a corner and we could have some major problems on our hands.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, right now, trusting the Federal Reserve to be able to make the changes to help, I think that's a bad strategy. I think people need to be proactive and safeguard some of their assets so that they don't lose them in the coming financial problems. But that's it. Give us a call. We'd be happy to answer any questions or talk to you. And join us next time on the Gold Spot.
If you enjoyed today's Gold Spot, like or subscribe to both our YouTube and Rumble channels. Also, comment below if you have any questions or if you want to hear us talk about a specific topic in a future video.